Americans love pickups and SUVs. We can't get enough of these vehicles. But why are they just so friggin' popular, especially these days? Well, there are many reasons for this phenomenon, so keep watching and I'll tell you all about it. Our addiction to these vehicles, which combined are classified as trucks, is kind of a curious thing. Think about it. Traditional sedans, for instance, tend to be more comfortable, efficient, and much better to drive, so logically you wouldn't think their sales would be declining, but they are and have been for decades. In 2000, sedan deliveries accounted for more than 40% of new vehicle sales in the US. Over the following 2 decades, though, demand plummeted, and this year it's estimated they'll only come in at around 18%. Now, deliveries of other vehicles, things like minivans and sports cars, have been falling too. As the fortunes of sedans waned, SUVs were on the rise and began taking the place of family four-doors. They're expected to account for more than 50% of new vehicle sales in America this year. And when you combine them with pickup trucks, that figure is in the 70s, which is nuts. But it's even more extreme with the Detroit 3, which have largely exited the traditional car market. For better or worse, GM, Ford, and FCA are heavily invested in pickups and utilities. Combined, sales of trucks and SUVs are projected to make up around 84% of these companies' overall deliveries in 2020. Sedans, on the other hand, are expected to clock in at a mere 5.5%. This really got started back in the 1980s when something called corporate average fuel economy, CAFE for short, became a thing, and basically it was an effort by the government to improve the fuel efficiency of cars, but that in turn forced automakers to build smaller vehicles, which a lot of drivers really didn't want.
But the CAFE on the truck side allowed you to build more trucks and bigger engines, and the standard for the fuel economy on the truck side was lower. So that allowed a skew to the truck side and allowed the growth of pickup trucks and sport utilities.
All of you auto enthusiasts out there may not like the decline of traditional cars, but automakers, particularly the Detroit 3, are just building vehicles their customers want, products they can make money selling.
Trucks are very profitable, especially pickup trucks. The method of building a truck is body on frame. It is old school, and cars are safer because of the unibody, but it takes a lot of work to build a unibody construction around a vehicle. So when you build a truck, and you can build them in components now, so you can build the cab and the bed and the frame, and you can piece them together at the end of the assembly line. It allows for more interchangeability between trucks. So now I have different bed lengths, different cab lengths, different chassis lengths, 4-wheel drive and 2-wheel drive. It allows for a lot of changing through the vehicle itself, but it also makes the vehicle less expensive to build.
Obviously, lower manufacturing costs can mean higher profits for automakers, but that's not all. Car companies can also charge more for pickups because, well, drivers are willing to pay for them.
You know, when you want to aspire to doing more outdoor stuff, or if you're using a pickup truck for work, my brother-in-law has a part-time farm. He uses a pickup truck. You know, when you want to use pickup trucks for those kinds of things, even if it ends up only being 5 or 10% of your life activities, it tends to be what you care about, and you're willing to invest that into a truck.
Simply put, pickups and SUVs are just more fun. Not only can they easily tow a boat or a couple snowmobiles, they're great to go camping in or haul kayaks or even go off-roading. And if you tried most of that with your typical sedan or hatchback, well, you're probably not going to get very far. And beyond all of that, these vehicles typically have very rugged styling, which also appeals to drivers' vanity.
You know, when your neighbor is buying a sport utility or buying a pickup truck, suddenly that's the cool thing to have, and suddenly your sedan is passé, and I shouldn't be driving a sedan because it's uncool.
Trucks really started getting more stylish and premium in the mid-1990s when the Dodge Ram was completely redesigned. Remember when Dodge used to make pickups?
There's a new pickup that breaks all the rules, and it's from Dodge.
Before that, trucks were pretty much just utilitarian work tools. That Ram kicked off a revolution, paving the way for today's super premium pickups, which offer luxury car interiors, oodles of refinement, and the latest tech. Of course, they give you all that with no sacrifice in towing and hauling capability. As these vehicles, and the SUVs based on them, got nicer and came with more features, people that normally drove cars had to give up less and less if they switched to a truck, but there are other benefits too.
Now, a crossover is a car. It just is sold as a truck. And so it now has all the features you had in your car. It has pretty much the same gas mileage as you had in your car. It has more utility than you had in your car. It has the higher ride height. And in most cases, it has all-wheel drive at least available. So it's a better car. It is the modern car.
This blend of characteristics, in addition to rugged styling and overall popularity, has really made the crossover an absolute blockbuster. But what does all of this mean for drivers that still want a more traditional car? Well, both Stephanie and Sam tell me that they do not see sedan sales increasing, at least not in the near term. Now, the decline should level off, but growth is very likely off the table. If you are a four-door fanboy or fangirl, this sounds like terrible news, but paradoxically, it may actually be a blessing in disguise.
You've got opportunity to take a sedan and really play up the things that it's good at, which are design, which are handling, and ride and comfort and all of those things. You can really then stop trying to make a sedan be a jack of all trades and let it be a sedan.
She said examples of this include the new Hyundai Sonata, which is really expressively designed, as well as the Audi A7, which is also quite avant-garde. So there you go, that's the story on trucks and SUVs and why they've become so popular. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel as well so you don't miss any of our other great content, from vehicle reviews to our new Versus comparison series and a whole lot more.